Uh, Mr. Jackson, Jamian, J squared, Action
Yes, sir.
Jackson.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like your mic is hot. Uh, you know, before you get into the tooling, uh, can you tell us a little something about that room that you're in right now?
Oh, this room?
That room, sir.
Yeah. So for those that have not seen this before and don't don't recognize the view that's behind me, as a matter of fact, I'll just step out of camera for a minute. This is our client solution interactive lab here in Round Rock, Texas. So for any endpoint that you are considering or you've purchased or you just want to put your hands on something that you currently don't have in your environment, we have a place where you can come here that has everything from the mobile devices that you see on the table to the large format displays in the back corner that you probably can't really see. We have Alienware, we have displays, we have backpacks, we have every single peripheral you can think about: headsets, keyboards, even the brand new, freshly released Dell earbuds, which again, if you haven't heard of it, I just told you about it. So again, something that we're really excited. A lot of people have moved toward, and just a lot of fun.
All right. Well, thank you for that. That's yeah. I apologize for stepping on your presentation. Just wanted to yeah, get a little more information about that. I see you back there. All right, sir. Please, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so for those that haven't met me, haven't talked to me, my name is Jamian Jackson. I am one of our client systems engineers. So if you haven't heard of the client engineers, there are roughly about 50 of us throughout the United States, Canada, and EMEA. And so what we do is we follow your hardware. When you are looking at devices, considering devices, you have a resource that you can reach out to and really talk about how you manage those new Dell devices that you have. So even if you're just doing a POC, you're doing proof of concept and you're trying to figure out, all right, is this the right device for me? We can step in, talk about GPUs, talk about NPUs, talk about configuration, talk about how you're trying to integrate these devices into whatever modern management platform you have today. We can kind of lay all of that out and kind of give you a road or a path to follow to make sure that you're successful. A part of that process is really talking about the tools that we have to do that. Now, Dennis and Austin gave me a short period of time, so I'm going to squeeze in 8 different applications, 8 different tools that you can actually look at to do this. Now, you don't have to use them all at the same time, and I'm going to break that down, but I do want you to know that we have multiple tools that help you in multiple ways. All right, Austin, let's jump in. So some of you have heard of the Dell Client Command Suite. The Command Suite is a tool set that we've had for quite some time. It's really about making sure that when your Dell device arrives at your doorstep, you have something on it already that is able to make sure that it works flawlessly, right? And so we have a couple of tools that help with that have been around for quite some time. I'm going to kind of fly through our command suite and then save the new sweetness for the end, but really want to make sure that you guys have an overview of these tools. And as you know, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, reach out to your sales team, engage your TCSM. Basically, anybody who can touch that endpoint from a Dell perspective, they can grab me or one of the people on my team, and we can kind of help you navigate that. Now, just a quick housekeeping rule for me: I have turned off the chat just because I know questions come in, and there's no way I could get through all of this if I was answering questions. So if you have a question, please throw it in the chat, throw it in the QA section. I will answer it. Absolutely will. So that being said, jumping right in, Dell Command Update. This is our tried and true application that lives on every system straight out of the factory. It is simply designed to keep your systems up to date. So think about drivers, firmware, BIOS. You have a tool that you can either manually, as that blue button says, click that and it will run a scan of your device and identify any updates that need to be applied. So you have that manual process. Well, then also part of the setup, you also have the option to do automatic updates where it will just do a scan and it will identify any updates, and you can allow that system to self-maintain. It will apply the update. It will notify the user. You can disable those notifications. You can actually allow the end user to defer those updates. So again, it is really a process just to keep those systems up to date. And no, by the way, yes, you can schedule those updates. By the way, yes, it is BitLocker aware. Yes, by the way, you can define a BIOS password so that it applies those BIOS updates. So all of that, we've thought through it. It's there. All right, next slide. So another tool that we have is called Dell Trusted Device. This is the tool that really, as we've talked about, keeping your system up to date. One of the other reasons why you want to do that is to secure yourself from any vulnerabilities that might come up that you're not notified of. Well, this is the tool that scans your BIOS to identify any of those vulnerabilities and then gives you a path to remediation. Next slide. Oh, one of my favorites, Dell Command Configure. So if you've ever had to do BIOS updates, typically you go into the BIOS setup or you hit F12, go into the BIOS setup, set your settings, and then you save it and then restart that system. BIOS changes applied. This is a tool that gives you a way to actually create an executable or what we call a CCTK file, which is nothing more than an INI file. And you can define all those settings either through that executable or that CCTK, and then you can take that executable, drop it on a thumb drive, and you can deploy it out to multiple systems. So this is a tool that allows you to make BIOS configurations that you can either deploy out to a single system or multiple systems. Yes, because you're using an executable, you can drop this into your SCCM or MECM task sequence and deploy it out fleet-wide. You can also take that CCTK, drop it into your task sequence, and have an editable INI file that you can make changes on the fly. So a lot of different changes or a lot of different options there, giving you just really the flexibility to make those BIOS changes. Next slide. Command Monitor. So if you ever wanted to grab warranty information, you want to grab OEM specific BIOS information. So think about thermal management. We have our thermal tables that are integrated into the BIOS. This is an agent that captures that data that you can then import that data into either Intune or SCCM, or you can simply extract that into a CSV file. And through that, you're able to grab warranty information from your devices. You can identify what's connected to your endpoint and get service tag. A lot of information comes from that monitor agent that you install. Next slide. Oh, goody. One of my favorites. Dell Display Peripheral Manager. So we used to have Dell Display Manager. Well, that evolved into now what we have is the Dell Display and Peripheral Manager. So this is a very important tool for your peripherals that you have from Dell, right? And what this tool does is it captures all of those peripherals. Number one, you get a status of those peripherals. How are they interacting with your endpoint? As you see on my keyboard and my mouse, it actually shows the battery. For our keyboards and our mice, most of those have multiple endpoints or multiple connections or inputs that you can have. And so through this tool, you can actually see what endpoint is defined to actually connect to it. So a lot of information that is pulled in here, but not just information, right? We're actually giving you the ability to customize and configure all of these peripherals. So from your display, I would love to have had time to show you, but like I said, you can get with me or get with your SE, and we can show you with the monitor. We have software-based KVM. We have a tool called Easy Arrange, which allows you to add these different windows to drop applications in. And the great part about that is you can actually define applications to go into those windows. And every time you reboot your system, it'll automatically launch that application and automatically put it into that window that you've defined. a lot of great things happen when you do things like that, especially around productivity, because now for me, as you see in the window, I have a 49-inch display, right? And so I'm able to I can actually do 30, I think 32 different windows there. But the way mine is set up, I have 3 different windows, and every single day, Teams pops up, Outlook pops up, my browser pops up. And so I always know where things are, and it allows me to keep being productive because I know where my applications are when I restart my system. Okay. All right. So those are the things that we've had, and those are the things that sit local to your endpoint. Now, let's talk about how we've integrated new tools into a lot of your modern management platforms. Next slide. All right, so the first one we're going to talk about is Dell Management Portal. So Dell Management Portal is a Microsoft Intune integration that gives you the ability to securely manage your devices. So you have visibility into your Dell-based Intune enrolled devices, right? You have the ability to actually collect information from those devices in a read-only fashion, like I said, read-only. So through this portal, you'll have the ability to see your endpoint, see the user that's logged in or last user logged in. You're able to grab the service tag information, identify if that device has a BIOS password, right? Important things. Now, that's just if you're looking at the general view. But beyond that, we kind of expand that and give you the ability to drive or dive deeper into each endpoint and see how it's configured, what Dell applications are installed on that machine. You also get that BIOS password information, but then we also give you an easy and quick way to get access to your BitLocker key. Yes, BitLocker key from that same window. So it's easy, right? Because today it's a couple of steps. You can get it, but we make it easy because you click on the device and then you see the BitLocker key. And then from there, you can copy it and deploy it out to the user that's affected. So we've thought a lot about making that process easy. That's the device side of things. Now, next slide, Austin, how do you get there? So to get there, you go to manage.dell.com. The very first thing is it is going to prompt you to associate your tenant, your Intune tenant, with the management portal. You can do this by going to manage.dell.com, or you can do this directly from Microsoft Intune and go to third-party registrations. And so once you get registered, the slide that's in the middle, or the window that's in the middle, you'll be able to see all of your Dell devices that are registered in Intune. And then one of the fun parts about this is we give you the ability to deploy applications. So I've already told you about the device side. So there's an application side. With the application side, we're able to deploy almost all of those tools that I mentioned before, the Dell Client Command Suite. You're able to push that from this management portal directly into Intune, already packaged. So for all my Intune people, already packaged. So all you have to do from Intune is simply define who you want it to deploy to, what group, what users, what group of devices, any filters. That's all you have to do. No config. Okay, we've already done the hard part. And so all you have to do is simply click publish now, and it sends it over. And so through that, we have application management, and then we also have some BIOS options that are available. So let's look at that. Next slide. All right, so like I said before, you have access to the application catalog. So Dell Command Update, Dell Command Configure, as you're going to hear from Matt in a little while, Support Assist. All of those are applications that are available standalone, but what we're doing is we're allowing you access to that tool through Intune. And so, like I said, you don't have to do any packaging, and you definitely don't have to try to figure out the path of that application and do your Intune WIM. We've already done that. So you just simply choose publish now, and it deploys that application. So that's the application delivery side of this. Next slide. So past the application part, or one of those applications sections that we have now, is the Dell Pro AI Studio. So what we've done is, now that you guys are taking advantage of NPUs and you're looking at AI PCs, you're looking at Copilot PCs in your environment, you're like, okay, well, what do I do with all these NPUs that I have now? Well, what we're doing is we're giving you a free tool. Yes, I said free tool that gives you the ability to test drive an AI template or AI model in a very templated form, meaning it's already created. All you have to do is start testing out, and you can link it with either a Hugging Face model that you already have, or you can just start using data that you actually create. But you're able to deploy this directly from this management portal and start testing locally on your device. And again, that's the value here. We want to give you the ability to take advantage of those NPUs locally, because again, you're paying for them. They're going to give you the benefit of an AI, or utilizing an AI model, inferencing that is, and use those NPUs that you're already investing in. So we're actually giving you that capability directly from this management portal. Next slide. All right, so one of the newest things that we've added is BIOS policies. So I already told you about Dell Command Configure, being able to create your BIOS policies. Well, now through this portal, you have a GUI that's integrated there, and you're able to select all the policies or configurations that you want to deploy out to your devices at the BIOS level. What it does is it builds that policy for you just based off of the things that you select. Once you have that policy built, you simply save it, and it sends it directly into Intune, right? So again, we're doing the hard part. You're building the policy, and then we're shipping that over to Intune. And so now all you do is go into Intune and you simply deploy it. And it's an easy way to configure your devices and get those changes out without having to do the additional work that we often do in Intune to get packages and applications deployed. Next slide. Oh, so something very new that we've done. So I was talking about BIOS policies. We've already talked about doing BIOS updates. Well, the question always comes up, hey, what do we do about BIOS passwords? How do we configure that? Because again, at Dell, we have a lot of different ways that you can actually configure your BIOS password, excuse me, but it's always more or less that traditional method where you have to find the BIOS password and apply that BIOS password to actually gain access to the BIOS. Well, through Microsoft and through Dell, we have a way that you can deliver a secure, very unique BIOS password, or it's really passwordless, security or secure method of accessing that BIOS through Intune. So again, it is a feature, a capability of that partnership with Microsoft and Dell through that management portal. So it's something that we're excited about, and it has been working very well. Next slide. All right, so I've already talked about applications. And so one of the newest application platforms is the Dell Client Device Manager. This is actually one of the applications that you can deliver from the management portal. However, Dell Client Device Manager, or DCDM, is really a platform. And so within that platform, next slide, within that platform, you're going to see all of those applications that I've talked about. So today, built into the Dell Client Device Manager is Dell Command Update and Dell Trusted Devices, and then of course Dell Core Services. That's already there. So what this gives you is the ability to deploy Dell Command Update and then Dell Trusted Devices in a packaged form to your endpoints. And so you can apply both, you can apply one, you can apply neither. It's completely up to you. But the value here is through ADMX, ADML imports, from group policy, you are able to configure every part of Dell Command Update and then every part of Dell Trusted Devices without having to deal with the endpoint. So it's all done through Intune and easily managed. So as you can see down below that, we have a futures, right? In the future, we're adding a lot of different things. So the peripheral manager that I just talked about earlier, image recovery, API access, all of those things are on the roadmap for being integrated into this tool, and you'll have that capability all from within the management portal. Okay. Now, I've talked a lot about endpoints. We have a gap here because we have our endpoints. Again, you guys are using SECM, MDT, MECM, Intune, all managing endpoints. But what about your peripherals? Because again, we sell peripherals. Next slide, please. So what we've done is we've thought about that and we said, you know what? We need a way to give our customers the ability to manage everything. So in comes Dell Device Management Console. This is a platform that we have that allows you to manage all of your peripherals. So the first thing you're going to do is enroll your endpoint. Next slide. You're going to enroll your endpoint. And then once that endpoint is enrolled, it will then, using Dell Display and Peripheral Manager, it will capture all the peripherals that are registered on that device. And once it captures all of those peripherals, you have everything you need. And from there, through the management portal, you'll be able to see and configure and update all your peripherals. So think about headsets, think about docking stations. Yes, I said docking stations. Docking stations, keyboards, mice, all of those things can be configured, can be inventoried, and can be updated. So what we've done is we've kind of focused on making sure that we can hit the mark so that as you choose and continue to choose Dell, you have a way of keeping your endpoints up to date and keeping your peripherals up to date. Next slide, Alison. And so when you have that dashboard from your peripheral view, you're able to see what needs to be done, what has been done, because there's an inventory. And then there's also an audit log. And so all of that information is available to you so that at any point, if you need to either apply an update or, hey, one great thing about the PC enrollment side of this is, as I said, you can identify who's logged in or who was logged into a PC. Well, then now you can figure out, okay, Mary Jane, oh, that's probably not a good example. Mary Sue has this device. She has a Dell Pro 14. Well, what monitor does she have? What headset does she have? Well, through this tool, you'll be able to identify the machine that she's logged into and all the correct connected peripherals that are connected to that endpoint. So the whole idea here is, as I mentioned before, as you continue to choose Dell, you have a holistic view of everything, both your endpoints and your peripherals. You have a way of inventorying, you have a way of updating, you have a way of configuring, and then through the management portal, you have a way of deploying applications to all of those tools. Okay, so that is it for me today. I really enjoyed your time today, even though I didn't get a chance to talk to anybody other than Dennis. Like I mentioned before, if you have, or if you know who your sales engineer is, feel free to reach out to them and just ask a question around any of these tools. If you don't know who that is, reach out to your sales team and let them know that you have these questions. They will get you either in touch with that SE, or they will forward on some messages and you'll get an answer. But the whole idea here is we want to make sure that you have the resources or access to the resources that you need to get everything done that you want to get done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamian. Now,
Yep.
as an add-on to that, they could also reach out to their technical CSM.
Correct.
To get in touch with you,
That is
or
correct.
their assigned sales engineer. Yes?